So I need you to go through and make your test corrections on your test that you did for me on Thursday, and make sure that you are ready for your retest on Friday of this week. So the first thing I see when I look at this problem is I know that I have to find a common denominator. So I think about my least common multiple. So I've got 6, 12, 18. And because 4 divides into 12, I know that's my common denominator. So I make equivalent fractions. So I've got 5, 6 is equivalent to how many twelfths, and then 1/4 is how many twelfths. So I've multiplied this by 3 and this by 3, so I have 3 twelfths. Multiply this by 2 and this by 2, so I have 10 twelfths. So I rewrite my problem. So I have 10 twelfths divided by 3 twelfths, and my answer is simply right here in the numerator, 10 thirds. If I wanted to change it to a mixed number, I would do all fractions mean divide, write the denominator outside. That would give me 3. Subtract, I get 1, so 3 and 1/3. So 10 thirds or 3 and 1/3. Second question, also division. So once again, I have to find a common denominator. So I think about 1/2 and 3/5. My common denominator for that is tenths. So I multiply this by 2 to make it be 10, which means I multiply that by 2 to get the 6. Multiply this by 5, which means I multiply this by 5, which gives me 5. So I rewrite my fractions. 5 tenths divided by 6 tenths equals 5 sixths. Question 3. So the first thing I have to have is a fraction. So I need to change 15.5 into a fraction. So I'm going to multiply and then add. So it's 30 plus 1, so it's 31 halves divided by 3/5. Once again, common denominator. Same numbers as the last problem, so I'm going to use 10. So 31 halves. I need to multiply by 5, and by 5 is 155 tenths divided by 6 tenths. So my answer is 155 sixths. And then I need to divide. So 6 into 155 goes twice. And 5 times. And then I have, okay. Question 4, improper fraction. So 32 plus 3 is 35 over 8 divided by 7 over 6. 8, 16, 24. Ooh, that's my common denominator. So I do 35 over 8 equals, we don't know, over 24. So I multiply by 3 and multiply by 3, which gives me 105 24ths. And then here I've got 24, so times 4 times 4. I've got 28 24ths. So I'm going to do 105 24ths divided by 28 24ths. So my answer is 105 28ths. But that needs to be changed. So if I divide 28 into 105, it goes 3 times. 3 times 28, it gives me 24, 60, 84. So I get 21 left. So I have 3 and 21 28ths. However, 21 and 28 share a common factor of 7. So I need to divide each of these by 7. So my answer is actually 3 and 3/4. If you had wanted to leave it as an improper fraction, you could have taken the 105 28ths and divided each of those by 7. So that would give me a 4, and 7 goes into that once. 15, so 15/4 would also have been correct. All right, now multiplication. So I'm going to change it to an improper fraction. So it's 15/8 times 7/6. And I am going to check my corners. So 7 and 8, nothing in common except 1. 15 and 6, though, I can factor a 3 out of that. So 6 divided by 3 leaves me with 2. 15 divided by 3 leaves me with 5. Multiply what's left. 5 times 7 is 35. 8 times 2 is 16. So my answer is 35/16, or 2 and 3/16. Next one, this means to multiply. So I have 6 first times 3/8. Check my corners. I can take a 2 out of both of those, which leaves me with 4 and 3. Multiply straight across. 3 times 3 is 9. 1 times 4 is 4. Or 2 and 1/4. Okay, 25 sixths times 39 fifths. Check my corners. Take out a 5. Take out a 5. Take out a 3. Take out a 3. So you have 65 halves, or 32 and 1/2. Okay, here I'm going to do some factoring, so I'll take out a 5, which leaves me with 3 and 1. Take out a 3, which leaves me with 1 and 2. Take out a 2, which leaves me with 1 and 1. Multiply my numerators. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1. 12 times 1 is 12, times 3 is 36. So 1/36. 20 sandwiches are being made. If each sandwich is cut into thirds, how many sandwiches are there? So it's 20 firsts divided by 1/3. I need to find a common denominator, so that's going to be 3. So I'm going to have 60 thirds divided by 1/3. So my answer is 61st, or 60. The next question, we are cutting some wood, so we're dividing again. So it's 2.5 divided by 1/4. Common denominator, we're going to go here. So that's going to be 5 halves divided by 1/4. Common denominator is going to be 4, so it's going to be 10 fourths divided by 1/4. My answer is here, so my answer is 10. All right, so I'm taking my time and dividing it up. So it's 2/3 divided by 1/6. This is 4/6 divided by 1/6. So my answer is 4. Next one, I've given you the total and a part. Common denominator will be 20 rather. So it's going to be 9/20 divided by 18/20. So my answer is 9/18. I can divide each of those by 9, which gives me 1/2. So the missing length was a half. Okay, next one, I've given you some of the kids and then some of those. So it's a part of a part. So it's 4/5 times 2/3. Nothing in common here, nothing in common here. Multiply straight across, 8/15. So 8/15 are on a sporting kids team. And the last question, we're going to take the time and split it up. So it's 5 and 1/2 divided by 1 and 1/4. This is 11 halves divided by 5/4. Common denominator is going to be 4. So it's going to be 22/4 divided by 5/4. So my answer is 22/5, or 4 and 4/5. Make sure you've written everything down on your sheet and are ready for your retest on Friday.